Will Baby Yoda turn to the dark side? Now, honestly, probably not, but there are some ways that they could do it, and I think that there's a decent chance at least they explore the possibility or the temptation of him turning to the dark side. Before I continue though, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. That way you know when more content is up, like Battlefront 2 gameplay, Star Wars related content, or just videos on having a more enjoyable life. So first of all, let's talk about just how or why this is even a question. In Season 1, at one point, Cara Dune and Din Djarin were arm wrestling, and Baby Yoda kind of misunderstood what was going on and thought that Din Djarin, his father, kind of, was in danger, so he kind of did a force choke. And honestly, if nobody stepped in, I think he could have killed her. Now, one thing we know about the dark side is that it's not always the intention of the person using it to do something evil. Anakin fell to the dark side, not because he wanted to be evil, but because he wanted to protect those around him. So, the thoughts of Baby Yoda misunderstanding a situation and tapping into the dark side is not really that surprising. That brings up to the next point, which is without proper training, he won't know how to control his emotions and how to control the Force. This is one of the reasons why maybe the idea that the Jedi went around and collected these Force-sensitive or strongly Force-sensitive children when they were younger. You know, it seems in some ways almost like slavery, but maybe in some ways they were really trying to protect the galaxy. Force-sensitive children that are never given any kind of guidance on how to use the Force, on how to go to the light side and not tap into the dark side, could probably be pretty dangerous on their own. There probably wasn't self-help books out there where parents could go around and figure out how to handle their Force-sensitive child and make sure they don't turn to the dark side. So really with Baby Yoda, I think when it all comes down to it, there is going to have to be somebody to step in and teach him the ways of the Force. Din Djarin just is not going to be able to help him with that. He's not going to be able to help him with things he's not going to know about. So the potential of Baby Yoda falling to the dark side simply because he just wants to save those he turns out to care about, that could be kind of a dangerous situation. Now with that being said, turning to the dark side does not mean becoming a Sith. Sith is a specific code. It's almost like a specific type of religion, and the dark side is just one side of the coin. So unless if there are Sith characters, Baby Yoda won't become one. Now, The Mandalorian Season 2, or even beyond that, could definitely introduce Sith characters. But as far as we know, after Palpatine died in Return of the Jedi, we went years without a legitimate Sith. Snoke wasn't a Sith, Kylo Ren wasn't a Sith, the Knights of Ren were not Sith. Now, as far as who's around that can help him keep from falling to the dark side, we have a few options, and this doesn't include the fact that they could just introduce a new character or new characters. Of course, the big ones are Luke and Leia. And this would require recasting, which I'll be honest with you, eventually I think that they have to do. These are two characters that are too important, and I think this is a time frame that it's going to be explored a lot. So to not include them because of Carrie Fisher's death and Mark Hamill being too old, I just don't think it's going to work. I think eventually they will recast those characters. But I don't think Luke and Leia are going to be the options to train Baby Yoda. We also have Cal from Jedi Fallen Order. Very good possibility. The actor that plays him or that voices him looks very, very, very similar to the character in the game. And of course, the most likely answer to this is Ahsoka Tano or even Ezra. We know that Ahsoka Tano is going to be in Season 2 of The Mandalorian, and it's a perfect opportunity for her to give some wisdom to Din Djarin as he tries to navigate this fatherhood of a Force-sensitive being. But it's also the possibility that, and I've said this before, where Baby Yoda goes with Ahsoka. And I know that there's a lot of backlash when I say that. A lot of people don't want to see that. They want to see Baby Yoda stay with Din Djarin. They want to see him in The Mandalorian in Season 3, 4, 5, or however long this goes. And yes, I kind of get that. But at the same time, the longer Baby Yoda doesn't have somebody that understands the Force and understands the temptations of the dark side around, the more opportunity there is for him to fall. So of course, going with Ahsoka is an option. Now, the next thing I want to discuss is, would Disney do this? Baby Yoda is the most cute, adorable thing that has come out from the Star Wars universe in years, and the last few attempts for something cute and adorable didn't really work out that well. I mean, the Porgs were okay, but then we had Jar Jar, who obviously didn't work out at all. The Ewoks have been made fun of since Return of the Jedi. Baby Yoda hit. So would Disney take that chance of taking their adorable asset and turn it to the dark side? Well, this really depends on how much control Filoni and Favreau have over this. They are storytellers. They're not just about merchandising. And really, if there's one fault that George Lucas had, was that he thought too much in terms of merchandise. Jar Jar himself was nothing but a play on merchandise and trying to sell toys. I don't see Filoni and Favreau being that way. And of course their corporate overlords are going to have some input when it comes to that. I mean, Star Wars makes a crap load of money off of selling toys. And there's been a dip in that lately, and Baby Yoda is a chance for them to recover from that. So they do have to think in those terms, and I can't really blame them. However, I think if they allow Baby Yoda to show signs that he could and make the audience think that it's a possibility that he could fall to the dark side in the future, I still think that they can maintain that image of Baby Yoda as this cute and adorable creature and still explore dark avenues with him. And really, in Filoni and Favreau we trust. We know that they're going to tell this story well, and whether he flirts with the dark side, falls to the dark side, or they don't ever even really mention the dark side with him ever again, I think it's going to be a great story. So what do you think? Is it possible that Baby Yoda will fall to the dark side? Is it possible that he just looks like he might, but he's pulled back by one of the characters that we know from the past, a new Jedi, or maybe even Din Djarin? Let me know in the comments. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. May the Force be with you, and have a great day.